everybody who's not here can still join in the fun. So for those of you guys that don't know, let's turn my lighting up. For those of you that don't know Meredith, she is on our larger team. It's kind of hard to explain, but in our larger family, let's just say. And I've watched her, she probably doesn't know this, but I've watched her since I joined. I was like, who is this blonde chick working full time and kicking butt? And then she hit elite last year, which means she's 5-star diamond, and she got all the points for elite. So when I went on the cruise, I was like, I need to rack her brain and figure out what she's doing, because she's doing something right. She still works full time. I don't know what qualification you're at now. I think six maybe? Close? She muted herself. You're muted.
I said I'm still at 5. I'm kind of actually in the rebuilding phase. So we'll talk a little bit about that tonight too.
Yeah, so I wanted her to hop on because, for those of you guys that don't know what Elite and Premier is, it's totally achievable. And something that Meredith and I talked about is she didn't start working for Elite until like last spring, summer. So that's what time we're in now. So the time is now, guys. And you're kind of ahead of the game since some of you are already working towards Diamond and super close to that. So I wanted her to kind of speak on how she kind of works her business while working full time and kind of juggling all those balls in the court that most of us also deal with. So I will stop chatting and you take it away, Mare.
Awesome. Thanks, Danielle. So guys, I'm excited to be here tonight with you, and for anyone who's listening to the replay, I hope that you guys get a lot of value out of this. But the one thing I always tell people is that I'm probably not going to tell you anything you haven't already heard or don't already know. It might just be from a different perspective, because this business is actually pretty simple when you kind of boil it down to what it actually is. So I'm going to share with you guys just kind of some of my tips and the things that I focused on last year. Because as Danielle said, I mean, I struggled. So I'll give you a little bit of background just on me and how I got into coaching and sort of where I got started. So I signed up as a coach in 2012. So it was a couple months after Elizabeth Harkey had joined. I personally thought that she had joined some sort of sketchy cult. I was like not into it, but she told me that the shake was going to like make me feel amazing and give me abs. So I was like, okay, yes, sign me up. But at the time and she didn't obviously portray it that way. It was much more educated and nicely, but that's what I got from it, was like, she looks fabulous. I'm going to look fabulous. Let me do this. But at the time I was working in liquor sales for Bacardi USA and going out like 8 nights a week. So when you are drinking for a living and taking that very seriously and trying to be a fitness coach, the two didn't really gel. And the irony of it is that my boyfriend now is still in liquor sales, and he's actually been very successful at balancing a healthy lifestyle and working in that industry. But for me at the time, it was just not adding up. So long story short, I did Insanity for about 2 weeks. And hello, I'll act like I didn't see that. But I did Insanity for about 2 weeks and drank a shake that was loaded with like yogurt and agave nectar and bananas. And I was like totally ruining Shakeology and wondering why I wasn't getting results. And then it was too hard. Like I thought, you know what, I can't sell a damn thing. Nobody wants to order this from me and I'm not getting results. So I pretty much threw in the towel. I stopped posting about it on social media because I was afraid of what people would think of me. And quite honestly, I just lost my belief in what it was, because I never really was committed. So fast forward then 2 years, I stayed on as a coach. I think I put my Shakeology on hold for like 9 months and then like got it again. And, I wasn't really consistent. But then I got to a point in my life where I'd switched jobs. I was now working in software sales, or technology sales, which is what I do now. And I thought that this 8 to 5 structure was going to give me the life that I had imagined for myself. It was going to give me balance. I was going to have a job that was paying me good money, and I was going to just have everything fall into place. And at this point, I was going to be happy and be able to get back to the gym. And once again, it just wasn't happening. I fell into a funk mentally, physically, emotionally, and just was in a funk. And I think some of you maybe can relate to that feeling where you're like, not really sure why you feel like crap, but you do, and you're not really sure how to get out of it. So I think I finally realized that the common denominator in a lot of these things was me. I wasn't putting myself first. I wasn't actually committing to things. Everything I was trying, I was pretty much quitting, and just kind of giving up on myself. So I decided, it was July 7th of 2014. I actually had gotten a promotion at my job into the position I'm in now. And I thought, you know what, this is a fresh start for me. I'm going to be in a new position where I'm traveling a ton. I know I can't go to the gym, and I know I have a lot of flexibility to make my own schedule, but that can also go in reverse, where all of a sudden you have no sense of structure. So that's where I was at. And I saw how amazing Liz looked. I saw her life like just transform before my eyes. I knew her prior to Beachbody, so I know like pre-Beachbody Liz, and I know Beachbody Liz. And just the transformation she's had was incredible, emotionally, physically, everything else. And I thought, you know what, I want that. And I got to a point where my jealousy turned into inspiration, where I thought, instead of thinking like, oh, she's lucky, I started to think, why not me? I can freaking do this. And even if it's for no other reason besides getting me on track, that's where I need to start. So I had no interest in the business. I thought, I'm too busy. I work full time at a job that pays me well. I don't need this in my life. I just need the accountability. So what I started to do was, I was mortified of social media, terrified. And a lot of that boiled down and stemmed from my own insecurities. But I realized that in order to grow and in order to hold myself accountable, I needed to put myself out there. So I started on July 7th with a little hashtag called 100 Days of Healthy. And I'll spare you how I came up with that idea. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to start this, and every day I'm going to share just something healthy. It's not necessarily going to be Beachbody related. It's just going to be something that makes me focus on being healthier and happier, and really just putting myself first, because for so long I'd put myself on the back burner. So that's kind of where it all started. So I started posting about my journey, but also posting like pictures of my herb garden that I set up for myself, like just little things that made me happy and kind of helped me to focus my attention on what I could control in terms of my health and in terms of my happiness. And over that 100 days, it was like just remarkable, the transformation I felt personally. And I really had no intention of starting a business, but it really did kind of start this ripple effect. And I maybe had like, I don't know, 50 customers at the end of the 100 days, which to me seemed like a lot. And it still is, but it was like, I was hitting Success Club, but it was just by genuinely sharing this. And you can go, if you go to my website, it's a Fly Girl Fitness with a U, flygirl.com. And in my story, I have like a video that recaps my 100 days. So you can kind of get an idea of the posts that I was putting up, but they were pretty basic. Some of them were terrible, like a lot of text and a lot of emojis and things. And, but whatever, I had got started that way. So that's where I was. So at the end of the 100 days, I had reached diamond rank simply by sharing the discount option, because that's what I did. I was like, why would anyone sign up as a customer when you save money and you literally don't have to do anything? You just get $20 off. So that's kind of what I did, and it's what I taught my coaches to do. So I had built myself to diamond, but it wasn't really an active diamond. So I had it in my head that I was going to get to diamond rank and like my life was going to change, because everyone kept talking about diamond and how big of a deal it was. And here I kind of like stumbled into it. And I'm like, oh my God. And I got an $18 bonus. Like nothing really significant changed. But what happened was I started to feel this sense of leadership in myself and started to feel the belief that, hey, like I can actually do something with this. And this can be a hobby that helps me get healthy, wealthy, and happy. And I don't know any other hobby that does that. So I started to feel like really inspired by it, but I always thought of it as a hobby. So I continued on for about a year, actually, with really no business builders on my team, because all I was thinking of it as was a hobby. So that's what I was attracting, people that thought of it as a hobby. So then I went to Summit last year in July, and my world was rocked. Like I went to that and I was like, holy crap, people like actually do this for a living. And they love it, and like their lives are just amazing. And up until that point, I had really thought like my life is pretty good. I have a good job. I have a good family. Love my boyfriend. I now have a really super cute dog. Like things are good. But I started to realize like I don't want to settle for just good. I want to have a life that I'm in love with, and that allows me the freedom to do whatever the heck I want, whenever I want to do it, with whoever I want to do it. So I think I had accepted that my life was just going to be the corporate world for the next 20 some years. And that was just it. I was going to climb the ladder and be successful by society standards. And I was okay with that until I saw the possibilities. So if you're not registered for Summit, I know that like registration opened and then canceled and now it's opening again, but I know that that's out there. Like, but if you can get yourself there in some way this year, oh my God, guys, it'll change your perspective. I guarantee it. I know Danielle went and said that she kind of had a similar experience. So after I got home from Summit, all of a sudden something shifted in me where I thought, I'm not in this just as like a hobby now. I'm in this to help other people see the possibility in it that I just saw. And I want to help other people change their life because I now believe that it can happen. So once I started to make that mindset shift and started to talk about that, not necessarily like I'm making millions of dollars and having all this crazy success, but that I believed in the fact this could help me pay off my student loan debt, that this could allow me to be a stay-at-home mom someday, that this could allow me to retire my parents early. Whatever I have a bunch of whys now, but I started to share that openly, and that started to attract other people that had that same reason and had that same struggle. Like people that are like, holy crap, I hate Sally Mae and I'm never going to get rid of her. So, certain things and finding that common ground with people is so important because then you have something to stand for. You have a purpose outside of just getting in shape. So that's kind of where I was after Summit. And then once I started to kind of attract my tribe more or less, things just took off from, I guess it was really September, August, September is when I had some new people join my team. So all of my diamonds, with the exception of one of them, joined my team after Summit last year. So they joined and they wanted the same thing I wanted out of it. They ran with it. They're all still, getting their bearings and restabilizing, but they're in it for the long haul. And I think that that's the biggest thing I want to talk to you guys tonight, or talk to you about tonight is commitment and understanding if you are committed or if you're just interested. Because for a little over a year in this business, I was just interested in it. It excited me and it was fun. And that is perfectly fine if that's where you're at, but come to terms with that and understand that that's what you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. And if you want big things out of this business, you're going to have to put big work into it and you're going to have to be committed. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to show up when it's inconvenient and when you are like wanting to pull your hair out of your head. And it's not to say that you can't take some days away and take some time off, but you really have to be consistent and be willing to show up even on the days that you don't feel like it. So once I started to do that and I started to set goals for myself and for my team, we all kind of like linked arms and ran for it together. And it was insane, the momentum we created by the end of the year. And I'm telling you guys this, not to brag, but to tell you that it's possible for you too. So if you've had like a crappy 4 months start to the year and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, like, is this really for me? It can so be for you, but you have to give yourself the grace to just start fresh. Forget about what happened and commit now and boil it down to the basic behaviors that you have to do to be successful. And that's what I'm going to get into now. So I have some slides, so I'm going to be looking at that to kind of guide myself. I tend to go off on tangents. But really, the first thing I want to highlight in kind of what I shared in my story is the importance of getting to diamond. So as I said, I kind of got there and thought that my world was going to just transform with that title, and it didn't. And it was a little bit anticlimactic. But at the same time, now looking back on it, all of the other things I gained from that rank advancement, like the confidence I had, and now that I was a diamond coach, and I was part of these other leadership groups, and I had access to a corporate mentor, and I had, other people on the team that kind of saw me as the leader. And that's something I'm a huge believer in, the power of confidence, because if you don't have confidence in yourself and if you're not working on that, it's going to be really hard for you to attract people to your team. So that's first and foremost, is building your confidence. And I do think that getting to that like leadership position is really important for your business. So I think that's number one. And like I said, the way to do it easily is to just start with discount coaches. I don't think anyone comes into this business and has business builders like coming out the wazoo. I think people have to see you stick with this. They have to like believe that you're in it for the long haul, because nobody wants to be the guinea pig and nobody wants to be the one to go first. But if you can be that person to go first and blaze the trail and say, guys, I am going to show you that in a year, this has been so worth it. And you're going to wish you started a year ago. And that's kind of where a lot of my coaches are at now, where they've watched me for a year or 2 years now, and they're coming out of the woodwork now going, okay, fine, I'll do this. But they come at it from a different perspective. But that's not going to usually happen in your first few weeks or few months as a coach. So don't get discouraged if you are having coaches sign up and then they quit the next month. Like, that is so normal. I think the first 20 coaches I signed up most of them are gone, and some of them are still there. The steady discount coaches are there, but the first business builders I brought on, some of them just didn't have the stamina. So, and I'll get into that. But I think number one is promoting the discount opportunity and promote why you got into this. So I hope that everyone has a strong why. And even if you don't have a super duper deep why yet, I know I didn't initially, I just wanted to get my shake paid for. I think it's really important to just understand that. If all your reason for becoming a coach is to get your shake paid for, then find people that want to get their shake paid for and build from there. I think sometimes you have to see the possibility in order to start believing that it can happen. But there is a little bit of vision that you have to build along the way as well. So promote why you became a coach. And I think one of the big things that we forget about as coaches, and I don't know if any of you talk about it openly, but is the accountability that coaching gives us. I think hands down, the only reason why I've been able to get into amazing shape, the best shape of my life, for me, I classify it as amazing. For other people, it might not be, but is being a coach. I am responsible to inspire people and to keep them motivated. And does that mean I have to be perfect all the time? No. And I have plenty of meltdowns and days that I just want to eat a Krispy Kreme and hang out on the couch. But more than anything, this gives me a sense of ownership, where I think, okay, I have to be concerned about what I'm doing every day. And I have to make a point to show up, because if I'm being a role model for other people and a ton of people that I don't even know about, I got to show up. And to me, that is a reason to be a coach in itself, because no gym membership or spin class is going to give that to you. No one's going to be hey, you got to show up because you have people depending on you. No, the class still goes on whether you're there or not. But the difference with coaching is you have now put on that instructor hat and you've now put on the leader hat. So I think that just emphasizing that for people that are really looking for long-term lifestyle changes is a huge reason why you should promote the coach opportunity. And work your way into finding business builders. As I said, it doesn't happen overnight, but I think that the more you can start to visualize the business that you're creating, even if it means you have one coach on your team, I think you have to kind of believe that before it happens in order to manifest that into reality. So let's see. Okay, so the next slide I have in here is how Diamond transformed my business. And as I've said, it didn't. It really didn't. But the thing that transformed my business is when I decided to transform my business. It had nothing to do with my rank or my title. It had to do with the decision I made when I said, you know what, I'm just going to freaking go for this. Because why not? The only way I can fail is if I quit. So I'm going to show up every day and put in my vital behaviors and my non-negotiables and help at least one person, and the rest is going to fall into place. And I think you have to make sure that you believe in yourself in that capacity, that you are a leader, whether you have 0 customers or 1,000 customers. If you show up every day, you're inspiring someone. And I can't tell you how many times I hear my coaches, or someone message me that says, oh my God, I've been following you and you've inspired me. Thank you. Or whatever. They show interest and they haven't liked one single post. I'm like, what? I could have really used that love when I was first getting started out, and I was scared crapless to post anything. But, when they say that, that makes me feel like, okay, you know what? I've done my job. So don't ever discredit yourself if you are not getting the traction or you don't feel like you're getting the exposure that you should be getting, because I guarantee you there are eyes watching you that you don't even know about, and you are changing lives. So believe in that, but also believe in the fact that you need to be the leader you want to attract. So if you want to build a business and you want to have a team of rock stars, you have to be that rock star, whether you are standing alone or if you have a whole tribe around you. It starts with one person. So make sure that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone and you're becoming vulnerable and you're sharing those aspirations and those goals openly. Because I think the second you accept that and the second you put that out into the universe, not to get all focused on you, the second you put that out there is the second it's going to start becoming a reality. But you have to first come to terms with that. So now we're going to get into a little bit of time management tips, because I talk all about this. You got to be a leader, blah, blah, blah. But what do you actually have to do? And I think that all of us are guilty. I know I am guilty of it, of wanting a recipe. We want a recipe to success. Tell me step 1, this, step 2, this, step 3, and then boom, you're a super successful coach. And the fact of the matter is that it's not like that. And I think we all know that, right? Like there is no silver bullet. It's time and consistency. And that's it. You look at people that are successful in this business, and I think sometimes they've figured it out, but really it's just that they've figured out what works for them. And that's going to be different for everyone. So the number one thing is to figure out what you want out of this business and to figure out who you are. So what I've done with my team is, I don't know, have you guys done the avatar exercise or like the ideal customer exercise? Does that sound familiar to? No? Okay. So Danielle, I can send you an exercise that we have that one of my coaches who's in Amy Porterfield's B School training, and it kind of breaks it down, but I know I did it like, I don't know, a year or two ago, or like when I was first getting started. And it seemed really weird to me. I was like, wait, what do you want me to do? I'm making up this like imaginary character. But what you pretty much do is you put yourself on paper. So, and not necessarily yourself. You're trying to figure out like, okay, what is my brand? And if you're looking for inspiration in your post and you don't know like what the hell you're supposed to post about, you're like, okay, I posted 17 Shaco selfies in the last month. Like, I got to switch it up. Think about what you would be inspired by and think about the people that you want on your team and speak to them. And that sounds really like, okay, but how? And I honestly think it's about speaking to the person you were before you became a coach. So what I've done with my team and what I did for myself is, I searched the internet for like an image of a person that looked like she'd be on my team, like demographic, is she athletic? Is she like a super geek? Is she super chic? Like what's her kind of vibe? And then give her some characteristics, like in terms of personality. And a lot of the time it's what you have, like your personality. So I have someone like, she's a dog lover, she's in a serious relationship, like maybe doesn't have kids, but wants kids. So all of those things. And then also fears, insecurities, and feelings that you might've had before coaching. So for me, it's, was super skeptical about 21 Day Fix and thinks it's a scam. Not sure if it's worth the money. Someone who is, likes their job, but isn't totally like hair lit on fire by it. Just little things like that, is someone who cares about what people think. She's competitive. She's worried, and is afraid of failure, things like that. Because when you write that on paper and you visualize that person, every time you put out a post, like my avatar's name is Taylor. I put out a post and I go, would this inspire Taylor? Would this speak to Taylor? Would this make Taylor want to be part of my team? Like, would she feel an emotional response to this post? And when you can answer that question with a solid yes, you know that you're doing the right thing and you're going to find that person. And when I started to do that, it was really bizarre because all of a sudden I had these like Taylors coming to me. Like I didn't have to go cold messaging people. I had people going, wow, that post you put up really spoke to me. I'd love to know more about what you're doing or whatever. Even if it was a simple thank you, it wasn't necessarily turning into a coach sign up. To me, that is, again, I've done my job. So that was really helpful for me in terms of understanding how to be effective with limited time, because every post I put up, I try to make sure it's something that would speak to my avatar who's somewhat similar to me. So I guess the bottom line with that is be the person that you needed. So when you're first signing up, think about that post that spoke to you and think about the quality of the person who inspired you. Not that you want to be that person, the same as the person that inspired you, but be that person for someone else. So I think that that's really important. But I went off on a little bit of a tangent there. So I'm actually meant to talk to you guys a little bit about time management. So one of the qualities for my avatar right now is that it's someone who works full time and feels like, holy crap, how the heck am I actually going to put something else on my plate? I have way too much going on. I don't have time for this. I don't even have time to work out. So what I've done is I try to kind of talk about that a lot. And I've recently realized I've gotten a little bit off of that. So done some self-evaluation. But you got to be intentional with your time. So one of the things that I am really a huge fan of is doing a nightly or a weekly brain dump. So I don't know if you guys, have any of you guys done a brain dump before? Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I think that's really important just to get yourself, like your thoughts cleared, because when you're juggling a full-time job, maybe kids, relationships, social life, coaching, family life, all this kind of stuff, it gets really easy to get overwhelmed and go, okay, I got to triage. Which of these things needs to go? And the reason why I think a lot of coaches aren't successful in coaching, or in the business is because it's optional. You don't have to show up. This is a job that you choose to go to every day. And while some people might see that as a stressor, I see it as a blessing. Like, this is a job that I'm showing up because I care about this and because I want to. I've wanted a job like that for my entire life, and I have it. Why would I quit that? So I think that, a lot of that is building your vision, but is making sure that you are balanced with your time so that it's not something that creates stress in your life. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's going to be easy breezy and every day you're going to be like, this is amazing, and it's like a piece of cake. No, it takes work because you're starting a business. But I do a weekly or a nightly brain dump, and I write down all my tasks. And what I tend to do, or what I like to do, is write them all. Like, don't even try to make sense of them. Just dump them on paper, write them down. And then from there, I will color code them. So I'll use different color highlighters. And pink is for Oracle, green is for personal life, blue is for Beachbody. So I have different colors. And then I'll put those into individual lists and then prioritize them. And that's if I'm really feeling overwhelmed. I'm not going to say I do that every single week or every night. But if you're feeling like, holy crap, I can't do all this, boil it down and say, okay, which of these is actually important? And which of these is actually going to be a business building activity or something that's going to make me feel like I'm centering my chi, whatever you got to do. So pick the top 1 to 3 tasks in each category and make sure that those get done. Those are your priority tasks. The other ones you can put off to the wayside. But always ask yourself when you're getting hung up on something, whether it's Facebook scrolling or if it's God knows what else, is this a business building activity? Make sure that you're giving yourself that reality check every once in a while. And then set weekly and monthly goals. And we'll go a little bit more into that when I talk about Elite and Premier. So I wanted to just talk to you about my non-negotiables. So when we talk about the step-by-step recipe, I think this is probably as close as it's going to get. So these are the things that I do every single day without fail. And I really think it's what's kind of triggered that compound effect in my business. And the number one thing, obviously, is the now 4 vital behaviors. So I make sure that I am doing my workout and I drink my shake. Those, I do not miss those. Even if it means I'm going down to the gym at 11 o'clock at night, that's why we have 22-minute programs. So you can bang it out and get it done and show people that it's possible. So that's number 1. Then number 2, personal development is so important. Oh my God, especially I'd say months 3 through 12 of your business, personal development is the most important thing you need to be focused on, because that's the hardest time, in my opinion. It's the hardest time of being a coach, because your first few months, sometimes you get beginner's luck and you're sort of like, everyone's jumping on board. I'm hitting Success Club 10. It's like you're feeling really good. And then all of a sudden, month 4, you're like, oh shit, I don't have anyone else to talk to. You kind of get you're slowing down. So does anyone feel that? Did anyone feel that? I know I did. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is great. It's so easy. And then I was like, no, it's actually not. So you have to pace yourself and give yourself that reality check of, okay, this isn't about running a sprint. It's a marathon. And you kind of, ironic, today was Marathon Monday in Boston, but you have to kind of give yourself that, belief that one step every day is going to get you closer to those goals. So I forget which one I was on. Oh, personal development. And then obviously, you guys know the vital behaviors, so I'm not going to go through that. But recognition, I think, is one thing that is so important for your coaches, especially the new ones, even if it means you share one of their posts that's really great to your team page and use it as an example, because I think that shows people oh, that's what my post should look like, or that's a good idea for sharing the coaching opportunity. So it doesn't always need to be rank advancement or Success Club recognition. It can be recognition as simple as this person just put up an awesome post. Check it out. So I think those are huge. I post at least 1 time a day, and I would probably get smacked across the face by the Beachbody gods if people heard me say this, but I built my business initially on 1 post a day. I was scared, mortified of social media, that it took everything in me to post once a day. It took me an hour to create a post, and sometimes longer. And every time we posted, I'd feel like I was going to throw up, because I'm like, what if nobody likes it? So I think that was something that took a lot of time for me to get used to. And maybe not everyone has that challenge, but if you do, I can totally relate. And I'm here to tell you that it gets easier. But if you're doing it just 1 time a day, it's that consistency, you guys, that's going to build the traction, and it's going to build the following, because people are going to be like, okay, what's this chick doing? She's showing up every day, and she's doing it she's been doing it for a while. So it doesn't have to be the 3 to 5 times a day, especially if you are working full time. to me, if I'm posting all day long, that's a turnoff to my niche, because they think that in order to be a coach, that's what they're going to have to do. And a lot of people can't do that. So I almost make a point to not post between like 9 to 5. Occasionally I'll put like a lunchtime post up or something. But that's when I do like a lot of my behind the scenes work. If I can, I check into my challenge groups or check into my team page. But as far as the public posts go, most of the time it's in the morning or it's in the evening. So that's just my 2 cents. I don't, if Danielle's told you got to be all over social media, then forget everything I just said. But I think that's huge. And I think that the other non-negotiable is to engage with at least 3 to 5 people every day. And this means not necessarily messaging, but commenting, liking, creating that sort of like support. And I used to, again, think this was so weird. I'm like, so I'm just going to go like some random chick's post? Like, that's weird. No, it's not, because if a random chick liked your post, you'd be like, oh my God, yay. And I really think that there needs to be more like, and this is going to sound weird, but like girl on girl loving, like empowerment and support. So dish that out and understand that if it's not received well, who cares? But most of the time it's going to be received well. And you don't have to be creepy about it and like every single post for the last month of someone's social media. But if you show that, like, if there's something that you actually like, oh, that's cool. Or like, I love her shoes or something, tell that person, comment and start that relationship, because that is honestly how I've built my relationships. It's not through cold messaging. It's through pretty much forcing myself into their newsfeed by liking and commenting on things that I'm genuinely interested in. And then we have common ground. So those are like my main business building non-negotiables, along with obviously checking into my challenge groups and my online office and that kind of stuff. But a couple things that I've used to help myself stay organized. I am a big list person. So I don't know if any of you, like, I feel like I pride myself on like how much I can actually keep in this little head of, I actually have a huge head, but like in this head of mine. But there's times where it gets like all jumbled up and like I go brain dead, where I'm like, I have no idea what I was just about to say 2 seconds ago, let alone keeping my challengers and everyone else straight. So I work from lists. So I typically have a 10 in play. I have a whiteboard right next to me. I turn my computer, but I don't want to get disconnected. But I keep like names of people that have shown interest, people that I'm having conversations with, because it's really easy to lose track of people when you're starting to plant these seeds and people start to come around, or you're starting to have a conversation with someone. So I always have at least a 10 in play list. And these are people that I'm talking to. And sometimes they say no to me, and I always ask permission to follow up with them in a month or 2. Do you want me to keep you in the loop on future challenges? They'll usually say yes, unless they're like totally mean. I'm like, no, I hate you. But usually they're like, okay, sure, yeah. So I'll put them on like a new list. That's my previous no list. So those are people I'll follow up with. I'll send them an email, let them know about like, a cool new recipe I found or something. But I try to keep them warm and engaged to let them know that I care and that I'm here for them when they are ready. And then I also keep a list of current challengers and new coaches. So I make sure that I'm kind of keeping tabs on them as well. All right, now this is a little bit backwards, but one of the things I hear from people all the time is, I just don't have the time. And I hate that excuse. I hate it. And part of it maybe is because I'm a little bit of like an insomniac. Like, this business fires me up. And I remember, especially when I was first getting started, like I would wake up in the middle of the night and check my online office because I'd be like, do I have any new customers? Or like what, like new leads? I'd be so pumped about it. And I'm not going to say that's worn off, but I've learned how to like, okay, let's check the office. Nothing earth shattering is going to happen. But I was so excited about it. So when you are passionate about something and you care about something, you will make the time for it. But I understand that everyone's busy. So one of the things I had to do was a little reality check for myself. And I don't want this to come off harsh, but I'm a numbers person. So I started to actually look at like how many hours are in the day, because we all have the same amount of hours and somehow some people seem to be more productive than others. But when people say I don't have the time, I say, yes, you do. You got to do the math. And if anyone was in the, that group, the 10X group that Colleen ran, you'll have heard this already. But I don't know if anyone was, so hopefully it's not repeat. But there's 168 hours in the week. So already, well, if you sleep 49 hours, that's assuming you sleep 7 hours a night, which is pretty generous. I don't know too many people that actually get both full 7 hours. That leaves 119. And if you work 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. or to 5 p.m. 5 times per week, which most people do, that gives you 74 hours left over. If you have a 1 to 2 hour commute 5 times a week, because that's typical here in Boston or in the city. I used to sit in traffic for an hour a day, at least one way, so 2 hours a day in the car, which is a time you can be doing personal development. So if you have a long, terrible commute, you better be a personal development master. And I'm telling you, it makes a difference. I used to fight this so much. I'd be like, I'm all good with the audiobooks or whatever podcasts. I've learned so much when I'm in the car. I'm like, brilliant ideas. So sometimes I'll pause it and I'll literally leave myself a voice note on my phone, because it's an awesome tip to share with my coaches, or it's an awesome thing to take back and put into action for myself. So don't knock it until you've tried it. So if you have a long commute, that's still going to leave you 64 hours. And if you spend 1 hour a day working out and making a shake, while listening to personal development, all that good stuff at the same time, that leaves 57 hours. Like 57 hours. Even if you spent half of that, like going out and working on your hobbies or shopping, whatever you got to do, playing with your kids, that still leaves you like, what, 24 hours? No, my bad. I said I was a numbers person. That leaves you like, 34 hours, roughly 30 hours. So that's leaving you like a ton of time to dedicate to this business, but you have to be intentional about what you're doing with that time, because it is so easy to get sucked into Facebook stuff, and then you like in someone's pictures from 2010 and you don't even know them. You're like, how did I get here? So make sure that you're being intentional with your time. So during those 57 hours, and let's call it 30 if you're using half of them for the business, and this is if you're serious, this is what I typically do. So you have to create a schedule in business hours. And personally, this is difficult for me because I travel across the East Coast. So like no day is really the same, if I'm traveling. So I have a piece of hair in my eye. So at times it's really hard to actually come up with a schedule. But if you know your tasks, you can bake them into your windows of time. So sorry, this piece of hair is literally haunting me. Hang on, guys. There we go. Okay. And then you also have to know how to silo and switch hats. So I am not someone that can be like texting on one hand and having a conversation with someone else. I have to be like one track minded. So in terms of like, if you work a full-time job, my expectation for myself and for you guys is that your full attention is at that full-time job from 8 to 5. Maybe that's not your case, but this is just what I assume. So I think the best thing you can do for yourself is to have a power hour and be, again, strategic with that time. So the things that I do, friend requests, the comments and likes I talked about, invites and follow-ups, and those are typically not cold invites. It's invites to people that I had a conversation with a week or two ago, and I'm like, this person was cool. I built a relationship with them. I'm going to shoot them a note, a hey girl message. Hey girl, great catching up with you the other day. Don't know if this would be interesting or something you're interested in, but I'm running a fitness challenge group and I'm looking to help anyone who's trying to get ready for the summer. Do you know anyone? Do you or anyone you know want to do something like that? It's going to be super fun. And the thing that I do with people there is I give them the option to buy a challenge pack. I don't always force people to buy something to be in my challenge group. I tell them, if you want to be in here just to like see what it's all about and to be part of a positive community that's going to keep you accountable, bring it on. Because chances are they see people doing these programs and drinking the shake, and by the end of the 21 days or whatever, they're like, okay, I'll give it a try. But if you strong arm them into buying something right off the bat, it's sketchy and it seems like you're out there just for the sale. So that's just my personal opinion. Then I do check-ins like to my groups, and I check posts from the previous day. So I'm not someone, and maybe this is bad, I've heard mixed reviews on this, but I don't typically post and then sit there and wait to engage in the comments. A lot of the time I have like 5 minutes, I put it up and I move on to whatever tasks I got to do. And some days I have to wait until the next day to reply to comments because I don't really pay attention to notifications, if you haven't noticed that. So that's really it. So I do those few things. So again, it's friend requests, comments and likes, invites and follow-ups, group check-ins, and then check posts from previous day. And I don't check my notifications until that stuff is done, because it's really easy to get caught up in your notifications. And next thing you know, you're down a rat hole answering someone's question in your team page, and you've already wasted 20 minutes. So I make sure to get those things done first. And then a really key thing to success, I think, is finding the hidden minutes in the day. And this is so key for anyone who's working full time. And if you're on the go and going 20 different directions at all times, you have to be really conscious of those little 5-minute or 10-minute windows you have. Even if it's like, I don't know, drive into Starbucks to grab a coffee on your break. Like, put on some personal development, or listen to a quick YouTube video, something that's going to help you to feel inspired. So my time when I do this is when I'm driving, when I'm showering, I usually listen to team call replays or the National Wake Up Call. If I'm working out, sometimes I'll listen to like a podcast. At lunch, in the bathroom, like if you're like in the bathroom, like I have a lot of conferences, so there's times where I'm like literally waiting in line for like the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, I could be here. Or if I'm like just getting off of a flight, a lot of the times I will stand in line and do that, or sometimes I'll sit on the pot and get a little caught up, like whatever you got to do. But another time-saving tip is to pre-draft and plan ahead. So if you're someone that is not like an inspirational Buddha and you can't just like snap a pic and come up with this awesome caption, that's not me. I tend to have to like feel it. I gotta like get in the zone. If you are feeling inspired, come up with some posts or whatever and save it in the notes section of your phone and post it at a different time. You don't need to have everything done in real time, and this took me a while to come to terms with, but like screenshot your life. If you've got like an awesome lunch and like a beautiful salad or something and you want to post it, like take a picture of it, but you don't have to post it right that second. You can do it another day or later that day. If you see a quote that inspires you, screenshot it and put it, overlay it on a picture of you next week or something. So make sure you're always kind of conscious of what's speaking to you, because going back to that avatar exercise, if it speaks to you, it's probably going to speak to your niche audience. So always keep that in mind. And then most importantly, in my opinion, schedule breaks and downtime. I'm super guilty of like go until I have a meltdown, because I'm like, I must get everything done. And I'm working until it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and I finally go to bed, but I'm not giving myself any time to just like chill. So know your chill, find it and embrace it and give yourself at least like a half hour to an hour a day of like non-power hour. And kind of, hone in on why you're doing this. And it's for better quality of life. So if it's getting to the point where it's interfering with that, you got to take a step back, fill your own cup before you can help other people fill theirs. All right. So the last little section of this, sorry, I didn't mean for this to be so long, Danielle. I was like so pumped, I guess. So the last thing, this is quick, is just getting to Premier and Elite. And I think I've had a few other coaches ask me to speak on their call about like, how did you get to Elite in like 3 months? And I don't want to say it wasn't hard. I worked my butt off, but it was all about making that decision to find people that wanted the same thing out of this that I want out of it. People that were willing to run, not necessarily at my pace, but to understand the possibilities and to give this a shot. So if you are like looking at your team, your downline, or maybe you have one coach that you like believe in so much and they're not doing anything, don't waste your time on that person. And I hate to say it, like you embrace them and love them and tell them that you're there for them, but do not force it. And that was something I tried to do for so long. I had like my diamond tracker and I had like all these people flagged, like, oh, this person's going to go diamond and that person's going to go diamond. And they're still at like, maybe they have one coach, like half emerald. I'm like, oh my God, if I had just stayed like focused on the person, I would be so frustrated by now. So understand that your time is valuable and there's people out there that are going to want to work for this the same way you do. So value your time and find those people to invest in and give them everything that you have gotten out of this opportunity. And I really think that it'll become so much more rewarding for that reason. And once you start to do that, really what I focused on was getting myself to Success Club. That's, first and foremost, you have to be getting to Success Club. And doing that, if you want to maximize your elite points or premier points, is by signing up 3 to 5 new coaches each month. So you don't have to be hitting like crazy numbers, like 10 coaches every month or every week. If you're doing 3 to 5 every month, you're going to get there. But then you also have to help at least 5 of your PS coaches get to Success Club. And that was my number that I ran with in September. And I'll tell you guys right now, last year I didn't have one single PS coach get to Success Club until May. Like, I was like, oh my God, my team is like, nobody wants to do this. I was like, it was crickets in my team page. So don't be discouraged if you don't have any business builders yet, because that is par for the course. It's going to happen. But it doesn't mean that you can't achieve amazing things in the last half of the year. So in order to help your coaches get to Success Club, because I personally think that's the most challenging piece of this business, is to connect with your coaches, not just the runners. Connect with every single one of them and ask them, what is your goal in this? What do you want out of this? Because a lot of people don't even know. And sometimes I don't know, as their coach, I should know what their why is, but also be able to say, oh, this person is just a discount coach. And, I don't want to say just a discount coach, but they're in it for the discount right now. And be okay with that. But make sure that you're connecting with them and asking them what they need from you as a coach. Because I think a lot of the time we're offering help, but we haven't asked what kind of help these people want from us. So make sure that you're clear with that. Know who your runners are. And if you don't have any, go find some. And just honestly, it's just putting that vibe out there that, hey guys, I'm doing this. It's awesome. It rocks for whatever reasons. And those people will come to you, or they'll be open to the opportunity when you approach them. And dig deep into the downline. So if you have someone who's, 2 or 3 levels below you and they're rocking it, connect with them and make sure that you're helping them succeed as well. Because I know, like, when Liz reaches out to me, or, Keith has never reached out to me, but if he did, I'd be pretty pumped. I'd be like, yeah. So, understand that people are looking up to you, whether you have, again, 2 people on your team or 200. People look up to you. So be present for them, be available for them, but make sure that you're respecting your time and valuing it too. And last, but certainly not least, is just to believe. I think that was something I didn't have until I went to Summit. I was like, I'm never going to be like these coaches. Like, look at them. They have thousands of followers and, and they, they're no different than you. I'm no different than you. You're no different than them. So believe that you're capable of amazing things, because the second you accept that and you go, you know what, I'm going to freaking go for it, amazing things will start to happen. But that's first and foremost, is building that confidence in yourself and just believing that it's possible. So I want you guys after this call, hopefully you wrote down some notes about your avatar and stuff, but really just give yourself a pep talk and be like, I can do this, because you can. It's not hard. It really just stems from that believing in yourself and believing. I actually have four levels of belief. So I'll break those down for you. Number 1 is belief in the products. And the way you get that is by doing a program 100% and getting results. That's the one thing. I did that during my 100 days of healthy, and I was like, holy crap, what took me so long? This is what I've been waiting for. I've been going to the gym, tying myself to a treadmill and lifting weights on the machines and stuff and gaining weight, and maybe had a little something to do with the fact that I was eating nachos and drinking margaritas every day. But when you finally focus and you get yourself results and realize that these programs work, it's you can't not share it. You want to share this with other people, and people will also start to believe in it when they see that change that's happening. But the number 1 thing there is your commitment. You have to be committed to it in order to make that happen. So that's step 1. Level 2 of belief is believing in the business opportunity. So believe that this can get your shake paid for, and believe that it's something that can create a life for you that you only can dream about right now. Level 3 is believing and sharing it with others. So don't think of it as a sales position. Believe that this has the power to change someone's life, because, and I don't want to get all emotional on you guys, but I tend to get really worked up sometimes, but the amount of you've changed my life messages in this business has it's given me all the reason why, that's why I show up every day. It's not for the paycheck anymore. It's for that gratification and that I'm making a difference. And all of you guys are making a difference, whether you know it yet or not. So stay in it long enough to get that message, because once you do, oh my God, it's going to change everything for you. And if you've gotten that message and you're still feeling discouraged, don't forget about that. Even if it was one person, hold on to that and know that because of you, that person's life has changed. And that's a pretty special thing, I think. Number 4, or level 4, is your belief in others' ability to share this with people. So believe in your team and believe in them. Show them that that's all it is just showing it to other people and sharing it with them. And when you do that, once you see, now I've got to the point where my coaches are now getting those messages of, so-and-so said I changed their life. And I'm like, it's like a proud mama moment. I get so fired up about that because I see them brought to tears by it. And that's the best gift you can give to anyone, in my opinion. So always remember that, and remember what made you start. And if you hold on to that and you share that with other people, this business is not only going to be so much more fun for you, but it's going to have so much more meaning, and eventually it's going to have a whole lot more income. And that, I think, is just the blessing, that it's the cherry on top. So that's my spiel. So if you guys have any questions, I did not mean for that to go that long. My goodness.
Thank you so much, Meredith. I love I hope you guys feel her energy, and just, she, like I said, I've been following her since she kicked it back up, and I'm like, I need to be that girl. But
well, thank you. I think the same about you, Danielle. I've been reading your posts lately. I'm like, damn, this girl is killing it. So You have an awesome leader.
Well, you guys ask questions. It's not about me. I got to ask tons on the cruise because I was like, sit down and I need to talk to you.
Yeah. Are you guys all going to Summit? Or is there one?
I think they're on the wait list.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead, Corey.
Hopefully.
I didn't want to ask you a question, but I just wanted to say, like, listening to you, and I know I was like running around doing a million things.
That's okay. Hey, multitasking.
But I relate to you so much, like with my Facebook, like I'm very like weird. Like I've been very like hesitant. And I was actually talking to my coach today, and you know, she's like, Court, you got to post like a personal like picture of you. Like stop posting just quotes. You have to post more. So today I posted a before and after, and I just signed up 3 people tonight.
That's amazing.
And like people are messaging me. It's like, I'm like, oh my God, like that really worked. So I just wanted to say thank you, because I can relate to you, and it's nice that like I'm not alone in that.
Oh my God, no. You're totally not. And just remember that, like when you're signing up coaches, remember to share that, because I think a lot of the time our coaches see where we are now and they compare like their chapter 2 to our chapter 20. And I'm like, girl, I was exactly where you were and probably like 15 steps behind, because I was so concerned about what everyone else thought. And there's something so liberating. And I have to admit that the more you share and the more support you get, it becomes easier to share vulnerable stuff, because you know that like, okay, I'm going to have some support on this, but every time it's scary. But I think that whole quote, like everything you want is on the other side of fear, is so true. And I think when you stop caring what other people think and you worry more about what you think about you and helping someone else, like I don't know, it was a game changer for me. And now it's like, it's crazy when I watch like my old team calls, like I would have like my mom and someone else on, and I was like, okay guys, so tonight, I'm like, holy crap, this opportunity can really make people, you know, come out of their shell. So embrace that. And congratulations. That's super exciting.
Courtney's been doing programs since July, and I'm like, why aren't you coaching? Why aren't you coaching? Why aren't you coaching?
Yeah.
And then
She's been begging me.
Yeah, her first month, she's just killing it. So
awesome. And that's, you know, that brings up a big, you know, a really important point too, is timing. Like I'm not one to force anyone into anything, because I truly believe that if they sign up in the wrong time, it's just going to put a bad taste in their mouth. Like if they're not ready and they're not committed, whether it's as a challenger or a coach, like it's almost, I don't want to say it's wasted effort, because that sounds terrible. I think everyone deserves like a chance, but I make sure that someone is like ready to go, because not that I want to see them at total rock bottom, but if they're not there yet, like they're not going to get results. And that's frustrating for me as a coach, because I'm like, oh, I can see you can do it, you know? But I think the more you're like patient with people and connect with them and show them you care, like they'll come back around and they're that much more committed because you have been there for them. You know, my boyfriend's he's a perfect example. Like he's loved Shakeology since I started coaching. He used to drink mine when I left it at his apartment. And I was like, you gotta like, let's sign you up as a coach and you can buy your own Shakeology. And he would never do the programs until like last May, he finally decided to try Max 30. But this was after like 6 months of me trying to get him to do it with me. And he was like, no. So I finally just left him alone. I was like, whatever, I'm going to go do my power jumps and you go do your thing at the gym. And finally he decided to do it. And now he's like, won't do anything else. Like he's like loving them. So
her boyfriend had his birthday on the cruise the same week as me, and so we did like mass celebrations, but he's like now topping us on the Success Club board. It's kind of funny because he's coaching now, and he's like so badass. Like he posts all these cool videos and stuff and like spying on her team calls. It's hilarious.
He's hilarious. Like I think some of my friends like following him more than they like following me now. Give me a little bit of
boyfriend is the worst, and he gets like mad at me for like posting and stuff. Like he's like, "You're so weird." Like, so I'm kind of just like blocking him from seeing anything.
Show him.
Yeah,
whatever. He'll get over it.
I just tell like not necessarily Chris because he gets it now, but like if people are like, "Oh my God, you're taking so many pictures," I'm like, "I'm getting paid to take this selfie right now. I'll take as many as I want." Okay. So you just gotta own it, but use that as like fuel to make you like succeed more. And I know it's easier said than done, but whenever I get like doubters or haters, I'm like, see you in a year when I'm on the beach working my business and you're Yeah. So,
Lauren,
anyway.
you got anything? You got anything, Lauren? She's thinking about it. Yes. Well, let's see if she has a question, but this was awesome. I really appreciate it. And
I hope it was helpful. I know it's a lot of info. Sometimes I'm like, I think I'm telling them everything they know. But, it's really.
I tell them that all the time, but it's good hearing it from other speakers, and sometimes you just relate to different people in different ways. So that's kind of
there's no secret sauce, really. But I think, have you guys all read The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster?
Mm-mm.
It's a Darren Hardy book. It's actually, I thought I had it in here, but it's awesome. I mean, and everyone, personal development speaks differently to everyone, but it was a book I read last summer, and I wish so badly I read it in my first few months of coaching, because it goes through pretty much everything I had felt. I was like, what? Like, did this guy write this book about me? Like, it was, that's the one. And it just kind of goes through the ups and downs, because that's something you have to realize in this business, is that it is a roller coaster. So like, even right now, personally, I'm in a little bit of like a downward movement in my business, but I know that it's going to go back up. You guys just kind of weather the storm, learn from it. And the biggest thing I take away from like low points or rough patches in my day or my business and my month is that my coaches are going to go through this at some point too. So I need to learn from it. I need to help them not necessarily avoid it, but understand that, help them understand that I've been in their shoes. Because I do think of this as almost like a path, and you're blazing a trail. And it's like, wherever Danielle is right now, assuming she's been doing this longer than you guys, you're going to be where she is. You're still at like at exit 40, and she's at like exit 60, so you got to kind of like, not that you have to catch up to her necessarily, but just know that like, this is all par for the course, whatever you're going through.
Asking about organization.
All right. Do you have a schedule? Yeah. So this is something actually that I need to reevaluate, because like I said, I need structure. That's a big reason why I finally went into an 8 to 5, because I was like, I need to be responsible to someone. So right now in my job, I work from home, or I work from a hotel or a car. So it allows a lot of flexibility, but that's kind of like my biggest enemy at times too, because I don't have anyone calling me at 8 a.m. to be like, hey, are you working? So I can get a little bit off track. But I do have a business hours example that I can send to you guys. Or actually, let me see. I can do a screen share so you can actually see this. I don't know if you'll be able to actually see it or read it, but hopefully. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like, I have it broken down like by time. So ideally, I try to work out in the morning, but typically that gets pushed to the evening or to like lunch break, because getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock has not been happening lately. And that's mainly a factor of not going to bed early enough. I'm kind of a night owl. I need to accept it. I get like all this mojo, mainly because I'm on like one-on-one calls and talking on calls at this point in the night, and I get all fired up, and then it takes me a while to simmer down. But you can see I have like workout in the morning, and then I shower and listen to personal development. Then I do my power hour, and then I'm working from 8 to 5. I do have my lunch hour check-ins where I post to my challenge group or post on social media. And then after work, I've had to bring it, like factor in a personal development pump-up session, because sometimes I need to like take a breather, because at times I would just I would like literally shut off my VPN, close out my email, and go right into Beachbody. And you got to give yourself that time to sort of like transition. So whether that's on your commute and you're like listening to a podcast or just silence, whatever you got to do to kind of get yourself back to neutral, do it. And then I dive into one-on-one calls. And then, I have dinner in there because I was starting to skip dinner. So whatever you're like having trouble with, I think if you schedule it in and visualize your time, you'll realize how much time you actually have. And then I also have date night scheduled in, and then on the weekends, this tends to turn into more time than I had here, but I do try to be more conscious of where my time is being allocated.
And I will say, this kind of looks scary, but honestly, it will make your business boom when you're not spending 5 hours on Facebook feeling like you're working, but you're getting no Success Club points, you're getting no coaches, and you're feeling completely drained and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So
I think the biggest thing, honestly, that I'm trying to get back to, and I was actually talking, I don't know if you guys know Kathy Reuter, but I was talking to her today. Julie, I can send this, I'll send that calendar to you guys just so you can kind of see it and make it your own, whatever. Because I'm a visual person, I got to see things. And so Kathy and I were talking just about like, oh my God, like there's times that we're both kind of in a point in our business where we're feeling like, oh, what's happening? It's like a shitstorm. So you're trying to navigate through it. And the biggest thing sometimes is just to get back to basics and not allow those other distractions or noise affect you. So I think that making sure you're getting in your power hour and knocking out those tasks in the morning, it's going to not only be more productive in your business, but it's a relief because you can go through the rest of your day and be like, I got done what I need to get done. Now I can like do me. And I think that that's super important because I know personally when it's weighing on me and it's like hanging over me all day that I haven't done what I need to do, it stresses me out. And then I'm like a basket case at the end of the night and it's not pleasant for anyone. So I think the sooner you can like execute that, the better you'll start to feel. And that will also contribute to your confidence in the business, which I, obviously said was a big part of this whole thing too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Meredith.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited for you guys. I can obviously see the momentum happening in your team, and it's going to be an awesome year for you guys. So I'm excited for you.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you at Summit. And for those of you that showed up, thank you. It matters that you guys are here and investing in your business and helping more people, and it will make a difference for you. So I hope you guys have a great week. And if you have any questions for Meredith, I'm sure you can reach out or go follow her funny posts because she's hilarious on Facebook.
It ebbs and it flows. There's days.
What's your last name?
Kelly.
Okay.
Yep. All right, ladies.
Well, thanks, Meredith.
Bye, guys.
In July.
Yay. Bye.